that we managed to change over a period of time, but we also started embracing and appreciating the beauty of life and the spiritual aspects of it, thanks to Kanan and Sanctuary. So outside of health and nutrition, Kanan is also an avid runner, a yoga and meditation practitioner, and he sees everything as life around him. He's also a chef. He loves cooking dishes in natural ways, in truly Manna style. Jerry is a professional and certified hypnotherapist and a counselor. She was an IT professional and eventually became a counselor, following her own quest to finding solutions to manage her own thoughts and emotions. She's now helping a lot of people to break their bondage and find their inner happiness. Her sessions can address stress, anxiety, fear, addictions, depression, anger, loss, relationship issues, low self-esteem, and low self-confidence issues that are people dealing with. So in summary, Kanan is the health coach, Jerry is the emotions coach. I personally can't think of a better marriage than this. On that note, I once again welcome you all for today's session. Hope you'll enjoy the session and make the best out of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Inger. And I'll now hand over the session to our mental health specialist, Jerry. Jerry, over to you. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Inger, for a very beautiful introduction. For a long time, I was looking for a title for me, and I think the name that you gave, Emotions Coach, suits well. So thank you so much. Okay, so welcome to Sanctuary, and welcome to this 5-week series on fear and health hormones thoughts. And we are in the week 2. So yeah, so we are done with the introduction. So week 1, you all attended Kanan's session, and it was around the 4 temperaments and how it connects to our body and how it impacts the chemistry inside our body, thereby impacting our health. So that was the last week. So this week we are going to see the same 4 temperaments, but how it would impact the emotions and how the emotions would impact our mind and the body and thereby our health. So that is going to be this week. The next week is going to be like a surprise element, like a wild card. So that's going to be still a secret, but it will be very interesting. That much I can assure you. And week 4, Kanan will be taking the session about female women health related to hormones. And week 5 is again back to the emotions. Okay. Before we start the session, let's go to the disclaimer. So this is not a medical advice session or a private therapy session. So if anybody has any medical condition, please follow your medical or GP's advice. There is another disclaimer today. This session is going to be recorded. So by attending this session, you give consent to the session being recorded. Okay. Right. Today's session is going to be on temperaments and emotions. And as you all know, emotions play a very, very crucial role in human body and mind and overall health. Last week, I think we all, Kanan took us through the 4 temperaments, and the 4 temperaments, they come from the Greek physician called the Hippocrates. Okay, so he is a great physician, a very early physician, and he's the one who said the health is not dependent just on the physical aspects, but majorly dependent on the mind and the emotions. Okay, so just like a recap for last week, this screen is for you to just have a recap on last week's Kanan session. So we went through 4 temperaments, which is sanguine, the charmer, the happy, the choleric, the aggressive leader, melancholic, a very empathetic, obsessive, phlegmatic, who is very calm, peacemaker, but also stubborn, Okay, so this is just a recap. And before we go into the session, I would like to say that today, I have a lot of contents for you and hope you enjoy it. In case if you have a doubt in the middle, you can always unmute yourself and speak up. I would love to hear your questions and doubts if you have. However, I'm also very conscious of the time because I've got a lot of contents to cover within an hour and quarter. So if a question will be can be answered in the next week or so, then I would tell you, I would ask you to hold that till that time. But however, please be comfortable to unmute yourself and ask a question or doubt whenever you want. Okay. Right, now we are going into the session. So the first part is going to be an interactive part. So that is for you to just brush up your brain from the last week contents. So now I just would like you all to guess the temperaments of the personalities I'm going to show. Okay, so you can unmute and answer for this, right? So anybody, who's this? Can anybody say who's this? Come on, yeah, it's a, she's a very famous actress. Anybody can guess what movie this is?
She's choleric.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Which movie is this?
Devil Wears Prada.
Yes. Devil Wears Prada. So choleric, any other quality? Is she just choleric or any other? You can.
Sanguine also.
Sorry, what's that?
Sanguine.
Sorry, it's not clear. Can you repeat that?
Sanguine.
Sanguine. No. She's not a charmer. She's not a people person. Okay, so she is choleric melancholic. Okay, so she's definitely a very aggressive, very rude, very leadership person. However, she's very much into detail. Everything has to be done in detail for her, organized, structured. So she's a choleric melancholic. Okay, so the next one. Anybody, who's this?
Sanguine. Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis.
Sanguine.
Yeah, perfect. Sanguine. And yeah. So yeah, sanguine. Any other personality attached to them? Is it just sanguine or?
Phlegmatic?
No, not phlegmatic. So James Bond, I know he's like sanguine. Then what other qualities he's got?
Choleric.
No, because he's not choleric, because he quite follows orders from somebody else. So he's not choleric, but he has something else.
Should be melancholic.
Yeah, that's right. So they're sanguine and melancholic, because melancholic are very obsessed with what they do, very organized, very structured, very detailed. So sanguine, melancholic. Okay. So the next one, Gandhiji. Anybody?
Choleric.
Yeah, choleric. Okay. And what is the other one? So there is another clue.
Melancholic.
No, not melancholic. So this
Sanguine.
No, not sanguine. They are quite peaceful people. So which temperament?
Phlegmatic.
Exactly. Yeah. So they are phlegmatic choleric. So very calm, very peace people. So they are phlegmatic choleric. Okay. Best leaders. Okay. Very balanced leaders. The next one. I'll give another clue as well.
Phlegmatic.
Yeah.
Einstein is phlegmatic, melancholic.
Yeah. So melancholic and phlegmatic. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. And the next one. I think this should be easy to. He should be easy to guess.
Choleric.
Yeah, definitely choleric and choleric. Yeah,
Melancholy.
yeah, choleric sanguine. He's more of a people person, right? So choleric sanguine, awesome. Okay, so right, so it's good that you've got that background of okay, what's choleric, sanguine, and melancholy and phlegmatic. Okay, so this was just to recap your memory. Now, so what we are going to do is today, because we are going to look into the temperaments and how they bring out emotions in them and outside. Okay, so we are going to see how people with certain temperaments react in certain situations, how they are going to bring the emotion. So we are going to take two scenarios, two situations, okay, and I'm sure you all will be able to relate to that situation. Okay, so and see how a choleric person would react or how a melancholic or a phlegmatic would. Okay, so today we are going to cover the thoughts and emotions that's going to go in these temperament people. Okay, so the first scenario is when driving on the road. A sanguine driver. Any guesses how a sanguine driver would drive? So if you are going with you are a passenger in a sanguine driver, with a sanguine driver, how would the journey be?
Either the driver is talking or singing.
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So when you go with a sanguine driver as a passenger, you will never be bored. Okay. They will keep entertaining you. They will crack jokes. They'll put the music. They'll play. So they are a very, they want to make sure you are happy. They will make sure the person next to them is happy and they can please them. Okay. However, what happens is, okay, so this is what happens. Okay, they are not focused on the task. They are more focused on the people, either next to them or on the road. So they are people focused temperament. Okay, the task, they are in a car, they are driving, they have a place to go, that's not important for them. So they are people focused. Okay, so but imagine a driver, when a sanguine driver drives and then they look out the window, what happens? Accidents happen, right? I mean, there's a lot of chance, if they turn their focus from the road, then obviously it's a very dangerous situation, right? So that's what, and why they do what they do. Why does a sanguine driver do that? Is because they get very easily out of focus of where they are. Okay, so they are not focused on the road, they are not focused on the journey, they are not focused on where they are going. So their focus can easily divert because they get very bored. Okay, they want fun, they want excitement. So even when they are in the road, fun and excitement is very important for them. And if they don't have a passenger, then they are more prone to look outside, right? So the emotion they face as a driver is boredom. Okay, so especially in a motorway or a highway, say there is a huge traffic and the traffic is moving slowly, oh believe me, they get very bored. A sanguine driver, if they don't have a passenger, they are going to be very bored. Okay? So boredom is one of the main emotion sanguine faces. They always look for fun and excitement. Okay, so if a sanguine driver, or in any other situation, they get bored, what is the remedy? Okay, so what should they do to get out of that and to make it safe, not to be distracted in the road? What is it they can do? They need to focus back. Okay, so they need to focus on their situation, on the reality. They need to come back to reality, because usually they are quite away from the reality. They are more distracted from the reality. So they need to come back to the reality and they need to practice responsibility. Okay, so they have when they are in the road, they are responsible for themselves and for other people on the road, right? And they are also responsible for the task they are going for, or they have to reach a place. So they need to be more responsible. Okay, now a choleric driver. So let's see what a choleric driver would do as a driver. So any guesses what a choleric driver would do?
Scold people on the road.
Perfect. Exactly. Okay. So a choleric, I think, you all got somebody very close as like sanguine and choleric, So a choleric driver would, a choleric person is very task focused. For them, work is work. Okay. So when they are in the road, there are two things that's important to them: the place they have to reach and the time in which they have to reach. So they have a plan. Okay. So they want to reach somewhere and they want to reach in a certain time. Okay. This is where they are focused. However, the rules of the road does not matter to them. Other people in the road do not matter to them. Okay. So because they are so task focused people, anything that they think would disrupt their task. For example, if a car in front of him is going slightly slower than the speed limit or even on the speed limit, okay, this choleric driver is going to get very impatient. Like, what are you doing? Why can't you drive fast? Or if somebody is crossing the road and they are a bit slow in crossing the road, they don't have the patience to wait till they cross. They get very impatient. Okay, so a choleric driver gets very impatient because they think their task cannot be achieved due to certain and that's what triggers them. And what is the emotion they face? They face anger. Okay, so the dominant emotion a choleric person would face would be anger. So what can they do to remedy the anger is they need to have patience, practice patience, and let go. Because see, the main reason they are focused on the task is they want to achieve the task, they want to reach the place. But what is happening here is they are actually getting distracted from their task and they are expressing their emotions. So what they need to understand, they have to get their focus back onto the task and let go of the negative emotion, and then keep carrying on or keep moving on, and also practice patience. Okay, and especially in the road. And choleric drivers are the drivers most prone to accidents. Okay, because they will speed, they will break the law, they will overtake very quickly. So yeah. So the next one, let's see what a phlegmatic driver. So any idea what a phlegmatic driver would do?
Going on 20 on a 70 road.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But the reason why they go on 20 is because they're confused, right? They are very indecisive. I'm sure you all would have seen a driver who would put a left indicator and at the last minute would change it to a right indicator and turn right. And you'll be wondering, what is that person doing? Is that person going left or is that person going right? And in UK, we have this roundabouts. So even when I was I just passed my driving test, I remember I used to be phlegmatic. I used to just stay in the roundabout, not to know when to go. I'll be so confused, very indecisive. Should I go? Shouldn't I? So a phlegmatic driver is a person who is confused. Okay, and they are very confused and they are very indecisive. Okay, so the dominant emotion they face is doubt. Okay, they are not sure about themselves. They are not sure what to do. Okay, should they do this? Should they stop? Should they go? Confused. The remedy is they need to trust themselves. Okay, they need to value their own decisions. Okay, and they need to trust. Self-trust is the main thing a phlegmatic person should do, and they need to practice confidence. Okay, so when they do something, do it with confidence, self-confidence. So that is very important for a phlegmatic person. So the next is a melancholic. Okay, so any guesses how a melancholic driver would drive?
Very systematic.
Yeah, exactly. Very systematic. Okay, so a melancholic driver is this perfect driver. Okay, this person will follow all the traffic rules, will make sure they do everything right. Okay, and they are very cautious on the road. They are the best people to drive. Okay, when you go with a melancholic, you'll feel very safe. You won't. However, when you go with a choleric driver, you'll be like holding the sides, to say like, oh God, please, please, So you'll be very devotional in the car if you go with the choleric driver. Okay, but melancholic driver is a very safe driver, very methodical, he or she, they follow the rules perfectly. Okay, however, the drawback is, when they follow the rules, they also expect everybody else to follow the rules perfectly. But would that happen in a road? No. So what happens is they become very anxious, they become very sad. Okay, they're like, why do people be the way they are? Why can't they be like this? Why can't they be like that? Okay, so what happens is they become so anxious in the road. Okay, so the dominant emotion they face is anxious, because they have very high standards and they are obsessed by the high standards, not just for them but for everybody else, and they find it very difficult to accept anything that's less than a high standard. Okay, so that makes them very anxious, and the remedy for that is they need to forgive and accept. It's okay, not all the time we have to be at our edge, not all the time we need to keep up our high stand. It's okay if that doesn't happen. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Okay, so this is how our sanguine, choleric, and phlegmatic and melancholic drivers act. Okay, so next time when you are in the road, please watch. It's very interesting to watch people. Okay. Okay, the second scenario we are going to take is when a friend or family member invites our choleric friend or a partner or a sanguine friend or a partner to a place where they don't want to go. Okay, let's see how they react. So first, let's go with the sanguine partner. So say a sanguine, spouse or a spouse, asks our sanguine partner to go to a movie, but the sanguine partner doesn't want to go. Any guesses how they would react?
They will talk to the person and make sure they feel like they shouldn't go.
Okay. Okay. Suresh, let me ask
They
you.
will not say no.
Exactly. Suresh, would you say no if Malati asks you somewhere?
No, I won't say.
Exactly. So a sanguine partner cannot say no. That was perfect answer. Okay. So a sanguine partner will say, all right, yeah, let's go. Okay. Even if they don't want to go. The reason is they are people pleasers. Okay. They want the other to please the other person. They want to make sure the other person likes them. Okay. Because that's their dominant trait. Right? So going to a movie or this doesn't matter to them. Wherever they have to go doesn't matter. It's just they want people to be around them and people to like them. So for that reason, our sanguine partner is going to say yes, because he is a people pleaser. And the remedy for that is, okay, not all the time they need to be people pleasers. Okay, sometimes they can be realistic, because sometimes what they do may not actually be good for that situation, maybe may not be good for them or for the person around them. So they need to be more realistic. Okay, let's see what a choleric partner. Any guesses?
No.
Yeah, exactly. That just no. Perfect. I like that answer. Okay, that exactly. So a choleric partner would just say no. Okay, so if you see that picture, the way she says, absolutely confident, okay, and just one word, and that says nope. Okay, and nope is like, it's a close-ended word. Okay, please don't ask me anything beyond that. So it's a very close-ended one word reply. And look at the body language. She gives an answer, she walks away. Okay, so that's how a choleric partner would come blunt. Okay, will come very dominant, very blunt, and very, so sometimes they may come across to be very aggressive and rude. So talking to a choleric might be very offensive, people easily can be offended by them. However, it's just that they are very clear, very confident about their answer, and they are not people person, okay? They are more task oriented. So if that movie doesn't interest them, it's simply the answer is no, okay? And they don't feel the need to explain why they have to say no. So that's a choleric partner. So they are dominant, so they are very dominant, bossy, very confident, okay? And but sometimes because they come across rude and they might actually offend somebody, so they need to practice more empathy. They need to be more understanding of others' emotions. So when they say something, they need to see how, or try and understand how other people would feel with what they say and how they say it, okay? So third, phlegmatic friend. Any guesses of how a phlegmatic friend?
Starts explaining.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's right. So let's go into this, okay? So a phlegmatic friend, yeah, so starts explaining. Actually, that the explaining would be more of a melancholy, okay, because they are the one who will give a more detailed explanation. But the phlegmatic would say no. So if you read this, sorry, I can't make it, something came up. But when they say that something, it's an uncontrollable urge to introvert. Okay, so they, in the previous we said they are always in doubt, they are always indecisive. Okay, so they don't feel confident about themselves. Okay, they don't trust themselves, they don't trust their own feelings, they don't trust their own desires. Okay, even sometimes if they want to go, they'll be hesitant. Okay, if I go, will I have a good time? If I go, will I like that movie? If I go, will the other person treat me well? Will they hurt me in some way? Will they say something? Will I be able to take that? All that confusion, and then they will say no. Okay, so the dominant emotion is they procrastinate because they are not sure. They are not sure, they are very hesitant, so they procrastinate. Even if they wanted to go, they would procrastinate. Okay, and the remedy would be they need to value themselves more. Okay, they need to give importance, because if you see, phlegmatic people are very loving, very service minded, very kind. Okay, so they look after others, but what they need to practice is they need to practice looking after themselves. They need to value themselves, self value. Okay, let's see what a melancholic friend. Any idea? And but like you said, I think melancholy friend is very explanative. Okay, so let's go into this picture. So a melancholic friend would say, sorry, I can't make it to your party, but unfortunately I have to rearrange my sock drawer. Okay, so if you see the reason why, what the melancholic gives is, oh, sorry, I can't come because I have to arrange my socks. So imagine a partner or a friend gives that reply, then the person who invites will feel very low. Oh, so this person values their socks more than me. Because that's how the reply comes. But the truth is they do. Okay, they are not saying that just to make you feel bad, but they really value their socks more than you. Okay, the reason is because their dominant trait is they are obsessive. Okay, so because they are obsessive, anything they do, so if their socks drawer is not in a good shape, that takes priority for them. Okay, and the remedy for them is they need to let go. They need to be more fluid. They need to come down a bit with their high standards. They don't have to always be obsessed with the high standards. Okay, so these are some of the examples, how our temperament friends or partners would react. Okay, so yeah, so with all these scenarios, now we have a little bit of idea about what kind of emotions our temperament friends or partners feel, right? And our neighbors, or anybody in the society. Okay, so what are the main sanguine emotions? So positive emotions, if you see, they have joy, happiness, they are very excited, they are very optimistic, and they are very expansive. They are very inclusive people, okay? Because for them, they are very people focused. For them, people are the most important thing in the world. They value people a lot. They want people around them. They find life more exciting and valuable when they have people around them. So sanguine people are more um, uh, relational. Okay, so they will like to have relationships. They are very good with relationships. And they are people whom we all would love to be around them, because they are always they are very humorous, they are very funny, they are all and if you ask them something, they would never say no. They will always be they will come along for anything fun and excitement. So they are wonderful people to be with. But what are the negatives of these people is they are very people pleasing. Okay, so just to make people to like them, they will do anything. Okay, and sometimes it can be very unrealistic, and sometimes it can even cause damage. Okay, and because they are always after the fun and excitement. So lust is one of the negative, and gluttony is one of the negative emotion that they can, because they want to fill themselves with excitement and fun. Sometimes they can go overboard. Okay, indulgence with food. Okay, or any kind of so they are more easily prone to addictions like alcohol or drugs, but for the reason of fun, not for any other reason. For the reason of fun, they can get addicted to it. And they may be irresponsible in some situations, like how we saw the sanguine driver. Okay, so they may not be very responsible driver, or in certain circumstances, because of their wanting to seek excitement and fun. And they don't respect them much. Okay, they have very less self-respect. So if anybody throws any words at them, they don't take it personally. Okay, they just can easily come out of it. They can just it doesn't affect them. Okay, so they can take humor and they can give humor. Okay? And impulsive, and because of this fun and excitement and optimistic and this reasons of people pleasing, they are very impulsive. Okay, so the decisions they make, the things they say, so they wouldn't even mean what they say, but sometimes their words can come very impulsive and very sharp. Okay, so these are the negative emotions of a sanguine. And okay, now with this positive and negative emotions, let's see how it impacts our health. Okay, so the body parts or organs that affects a sanguine is mostly heart, because they are people related. They have a people related personality. When some person hurts them or rejects them or don't like them, the first thing that hurts them is the heart. So heart is the one that gets affected. Okay, so sanguines, most of them, any health issues they have is around the heart. And second thing is the stomach being because of the gluttony and indulgence. So if a sanguine is more indulgent with food or gluttony, then we know in the stomach, if the stomach becomes big, then it would affect the other organs. Yeah. Okay, and what is the compatibility for sanguine for work purposes? Okay, so they are very compatible. They are good partners with choleric, because for choleric cannot express what they want in a nice way, while sanguine are very good at that. So they are very good partners. So if a choleric can make a sanguine as a partner, or if a choleric personality can have a sanguine personality, like Trump, they can do magic as a leader. Okay, And they are also very good with melancholy because, see, sanguine is a person who is always flying. Okay, they are not grounded, they are not cautious, they are very impulsive, they are very irresponsible, right? But melancholy is the opposite. Okay, they are very cautious, they are very very responsible, and so they will complement each other. Okay, however, for melancholy, sanguine is a very good complement because they will bring happiness into melancholist, right? So for work purposes as well, they are very nice. However, for compatibility for relationship as well, for sanguine, melancholy is a very good relationship partner because they will balance each other out. Right. So, so when we saw this sanguine emotions, we saw the negative emotions. Okay. As much as a sanguine person can have a positive, they can also have the negative. So how can they get rid of the negative? Okay. And use more of the positive, because using the positive will be more helpful to them. So in the negative, if you see the most topmost reason for their negative is people pleasing. Okay? They want people to like them. That is the main purpose of their actions, decisions, words, everything. Everything they do is for them. They want people to like them. Okay. However, that can become a very negative point because which means because they want other people to like them, sometimes they don't respect themselves. They would do anything for them. Okay, so sometimes they lack self-respect, so they need to improve the self-respect. And the second point is they need to improve self-discipline, because they are more of excitement and fun and everything, so they are not very disciplined. Like on the road, for example, on the road they don't follow the rules very well. They are more interested in people, right? So they need to have more they need to practice more self-discipline. And then they need to set priorities, right? This is very important. Okay, so when in a relationship or in a work area or in the road, until they set their priorities right, they can easily be distracted. Okay, so even at a work, if a boss gives them give them a work that they can't handle, they will still say yes. Okay, because they want to please the boss. However, if they are not realistic, and then what they would do is they would end up working a lot to attain what they can't achieve, and sometimes it will go in a very negative direction. So they need to set priorities right, be more realistic. And what they need to practice is they need to practice gratitude, because they are so happy people. They want excitement, they want fun. They sometimes forget that even food, for example, we know that sanctuary is one of the even food has to be consumed responsibly, right? Because another life is sacrificing itself to be our food. So when we have gratitude, the responsibility will come in itself. So that's why the gratitude and the responsibility. Okay, so that is what sanguine is all about. Okay, so I'll just pause for a moment to just see if anybody has any questions. If not, then I'll continue.
Jerry, one question, Suresh here.
Mm-hmm.
Will based on the situation,
Mm-hmm.
will the emotion? I mean, will sanguine people change to different kind of person, or like it will come out their base understanding of their something?
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question you asked, because last week, I think after Kannan's session, I know some of you told that you were not able to place yourself in one temperament, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so sometimes what happens is we may not have one dominant temperament. We might have 2 or 3 dominant temperaments, or sometimes we may have other temperaments in an equal proportion, right? So depending on the situation, So for example, if you take for example, if you take me, I would say I'm a sanguine, melancholic, and a phlegmatic. Okay, so I have 3 temperaments. So based on the situations, I can change. Sometimes I would bring a sanguine temperament. Sometimes I would bring a melancholic. Sometimes I would bring a phlegmatic. So the answer to your question is yes, you can change depending on which you dominantly use. Is that okay, Suresh?
Yeah, okay, Jerry. Yeah.
Okay. So
The question, we said the body parts here and organs announced, whatever, associated are heart and stomach, right? Are we going to talk about what can we do to balance a few of these characteristics out in terms of food and other stuff?
yeah, that actually will be covered in the week 5, because the week 5 will have a lot of practical tips as to which will include food and even other lifestyle aspects. So that will be in detail in week 5. So is that okay?
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay. So any other, or we'll move on to the next one?
Jerry, I have a question.
Yeah.
So you have mentioned a couple of points on how to resurrect, right? So the resurrection is to bring balance to the emotion, or the resurrect is to bring balance so that you have a proper mix with other emotions. What does it exactly do?
Yeah, I think both. Yeah, both. One is, see, if you take just the sanguine has a positive of joy, excitement, but with joy and excitement, indulgence and gluttony can be part of it if it's not balanced, right? So it is bringing balance to the emotions. And the second part is also right. It's like, see, if someone has a sanguine personality, it's good for them to adapt or practice melancholic emotions as well, because the melancholic emotions, for example, one of the sanguine's negative point is impulsive. Okay, but melancholic emotions positive emotion is cautious. So impulsive can be balanced with caution. Okay, so the second part of balancing the emotions across the temperaments is also important. Balancing the emotion within one particular temperament is also important. So the resurrection will apply to both.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the next one is choleric emotions. So the choleric emotions, if we go to the positive and the negative, so the positive choleric emotions are courage. They are very courageous people. They can stand in the front line. So if you take a military, a choleric person will be the frontline person. Okay, they won't be scared of anything. They are fearless. Okay, so they will be best military front end leaders. Then they are very bold, fearless. They are very honest. They are very straightforward. They are very truthful. They are very honest, and also because they are not scared of or they are not constrained by people, they don't hesitate to say what they want to say. So they're very honest, they are very valor, and they are very ambition, and they have this drive of achieving a task, because they are very task oriented. They are driven by ambition, okay, and goals. However, the negative traits of choleric temperament is anger. Okay, so because they are very task oriented, for them everything is very action. Okay, for them they just want things to be done. How it's done, the behind the scene is not very important for them. Okay, they just want it to be done. So for example, if they have asked somebody to do a task, and if that person couldn't do it, for if that person is sick, so if you have a choleric boss, and if you couldn't finish a task because you were sick, they won't understand, because for them the reason behind why the task didn't happen will not catch their eye, and they won't have empathy towards it. Okay, so that's when the negative emotions kick in, like anger, rage, and the anger can become even rage, and impatience. They are not patient. They are frustrated because if the task doesn't get finished at whatever cost that which they expect, they get very frustrated. And they are also very jealous people, okay, because they are very choleric and they can't stand anybody who is like them. Okay, they are like one man. It's like lion, okay, the pride, the king of the pride. Okay, they can't have another king. Okay, they can't share their kingdom, right? So they are very jealous. They can be jealous if another person is threatening their position. They are very contentious. Okay, they can, because for them the task is important. So for example, if they are in a political, they can practice treachery, they can betray, because for them the task is important. Okay, but that is the negative. Okay, so the negative aspects of choleric is this, and the reason why they are is it's nothing personal for them. Okay, they don't do all this. They are not angry at somebody because it's personal. For them, it's a task. Okay, that their emotions are based only because of the task and not because it's personal. However, sanguine, it's very personal. Okay, anything they do is personal. Anything they receive from another person is very personal. For choleric, anything they do is not personal. Anything they receive from others is also not personal. Okay. So let's see the impact. So the body parts or organs that's affected is liver. Anger, straight, it affects the liver. Okay. And because they use their head a lot, okay, because they are more logical, they are more decisions, planning, so they use their brain and head a lot. Okay, so their head is also very prone to affect. So they'll have a lot of headaches, migraines, their eyes will be affected. So these are the impact in their health. Okay, and the compatibility for work is, see, choleric cannot find it very difficult to work other people. Okay, they are like a one-man team. Okay, so if they have to work with others, the other person has to be submissive to them and be okay to take whatever they give. Okay, so such one personality that can do is a sanguine. Okay, sanguine can be very people pleasing. He can just be flexible with choleric. That's why sanguine is a good. Melancholy, it like in a relationship wise, melancholy will be very difficult, because melancholy also has that high standards. However, if a choleric can maintain a good work relationship, melancholy, they'll be the best person, because they can do whatever the choleric wants with 100% involvement. Okay, so the work will be done by the melancholy. However, with the sanguine, the work may not be done. To get a work done by sanguine, you have to keep feeding their ego. You have to keep making them feel good and give them fun and excitement. However, for melancholy, that's not. Okay, if you give them a work, they will do it. They will do it 100%. Okay, and compatible for relationship, for choleric, the best compatibility for relationship is phlegmatic. For choleric, phlegmatic is the right combination, because see, choleric, if you see, they are very aggressive, they are very fiery people, right? Phlegmatic is water. They are very flowy, they're very calming, they're very peaceful, loving, caring. So for choleric, so if you are a choleric person, you have a spouse who's phlegmatic, best partner. Okay, both wise. And for phlegmatic as well, a choleric will be a very good partner. Okay, so, and to resurrect, the points are, a choleric should try and let go. So what if you take the choleric driver, what the choleric driver was trying to do is, for the driver to achieve his task of reaching a place, right, he was trying to control the other people on the road, and that's why he got angry and he was shouting at them, right? So he was trying to control the circumstances or the environment around him for his task to get completed. But what he need to do is he need to let go of trying to control other people or the circumstances around him. Instead, what he needs to learn, he or she needs to learn is he needs to exert that control inside him, because the only person he can control is himself. And that's why more of self-control. So then choleric people need to practice more self-control instead of controlling outside. Okay, and the choleric person needs to be more patient. Okay, they need to practice patience, they need to practice empathy, and they need to practice calmness. And all these, if you see the patience, empathy, calmness, they are all positive of phlegmatic. Okay, that's why the phlegmatic relationship will be best. Okay, so I'll just stop here for a moment and just take questions if there's any. Okay, so moving on to the next one, phlegmatic emotions. Okay, so let's go into the positive and the negative phlegmatic emotions. So the positive phlegmatic emotions, see, phlegmatic people are peacemakers. Okay, so they want peace around them. It's very important for them. They want things to be calm around them. They don't like conflict. Okay, so their positive emotions are love, compassion, patience, peace, tolerance. They're very easygoing because they want peace. They can let go of anything. Anything that is disrupting the peace, they'll say, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, go. You want to have it, have it. Okay, you hurt me. Okay, I want to let it go. I'll let it go because I just want peace. Okay, so they are very good at letting it go, and they are very good at having faith in others. Okay, I want you to note this point. Phlegmatics are very good at having faith in others. Okay, I just want you to keep that in mind because we'll come back to a different point later on. However, the negative traits of phlegmatic people are they are very passive. So the sanguine and choleric, they are more of an extrovert. Okay, so they are more of active. Okay, so they are more spoken, they are more action oriented. When a choleric and a sanguine personality is in a room, you won't miss them. Okay, so they are loud, they are outspoken, and they are very confident. They come across very confident. However, phlegmatic, they are very passive, they are very quiet. Okay, and sometimes they can become lazy. Okay, because that's the negative, because they are very easy going and let go, and sometimes they go into laziness, and they are more prone to procrastination, because one of the things we said is they don't trust in themselves. They are not sure about themselves. They are very hesitant. They are very indecisive. They are always in doubt about themselves. Okay, so that is the reason why they procrastinate. Okay, and they are very lonely, and they can be very moody people. Okay, but the moodiness comes because of the hesitation. Okay, because of the indecisiveness. Okay, because they are not sure what to do, how to approach people, what to do with themselves, how do they act, how do they speak. They are not sure, and due to which they can resign, they can go into resignation. Okay, they will just retire. They'll say, okay, I don't know how to speak to you, so sorry, I'm just going to go into my room. Okay, but one very important trait about them is stubborn. They can be very stubborn. Okay, so even if you try to break their silence, sometimes you can't, because they are very stubborn. Okay, so so these are the negative phlegmatic emotions. Okay, so if we see how it impacts their body parts, so lungs. Okay, so because they are very passive, very so the main part that affects is lungs. Okay, because they can get into sadness, they can become sad. Okay, because they are not sure about themselves, and they think people around them cannot understand how they feel. Because see, if you take their positive, they are very loving, they are very peaceful. But when they don't get that response from other personalities, which obviously they won't get it, they become very sad. Because they become very sad, it affects their lungs. Okay, and it kind of blocks them. Okay, it stops them from breathing well. Okay, because they hold it. Okay, they hold it in. They become lonely. They become moody. Okay, so the lungs are the main organ that gets affected, and also the spleen. So the spleen as well, because they are very holding. They are not releasing people, even though the positive is they can let go. But they can also have another side to them where they hold it inside and they become very sad. And the compatibility for work is they are very actually phlegmatic can be compatible with anybody. Okay, they are the best people who can get easily. If they are there, they won't bother you in any way. They won't come across with a strong opinion. They won't come across. So if you say, okay, in a group, if you say, okay, shall we go for this restaurant, they'll just say okay. Okay, so they won't, no, I want to, we should go there. They won't give a contradictory opinion or an idea. So they're very easygoing people. Okay, so actually they are very compatible with everybody. However, the sanguine personality can come across a bit overwhelming for them, because the sanguine personality is very loud. Okay, and these people are quite calm. They like calmness, they like quietness. So sometimes sanguine can come across a bit overpowering for them. Okay, so the compatibility for work for them is choleric. For choleric, they are like the grounding factor for choleric. Okay, they are the calming factor. For melancholy as well, the same. The melancholists are more they want things to happen according how they want it, and phlegmatics are the easygoing people. So they form a very good compatibility with melancholy. And for compatibility for relationship, the best is choleric. Okay, because phlegmatic, they become lazy, procrastinate, because like I said, they are not sure about themselves. So they need more motivation, they need inspiration, they need goals, and the choleric will help them with that. Okay, so somebody needs to drive them. Okay, somebody needs to keep motivating them, somebody needs to keep encouraging them, and then drive them towards a task, and the choleric can do it very well. Okay, so to resurrect, the first thing is the phlegmatic people, they need to improve, work on their self-esteem. They need to self-value them. See, like I said, if you see the positive, they are very good at having faith on others. However, they don't have that faith on themselves. And that is the problem. Okay. So for phlegmatic, the main point is they need to value themselves. They need to give more importance to themselves. Okay. They need to take care of themselves. Then they need to practice more self-confidence. So when they do something, when they speak something, they have to be more confident. Okay, and they need goal setting, ambition, drive, and motivation, and that can be given by the choleric. That's why the choleric is a best compatibility. Okay, so yeah, any questions? And then we can move to the next one.
No, Jerry.
Okay, so the next is melancholic emotions. Okay, so melancholy, we all know melancholy means it's a sad song, it's a sad tune, right? So let's see what is the positive and the negative. So melancholic, the positive emotions are, they are very passionate. Okay, so they are very passionate about what they do, who they are. They have a very deep meaning underneath whatever they do and they say or anything. So there is a deeper meaning under them. Okay, so they are very passionate people. That's why if you see all the art, so even in our examples, we saw the Mother Teresa, she was a melancholy. Okay, however, she is a person who overcame the negative side of the melancholy. That's why she was very good at, she was melancholy and phlegmatic. And Einstein as well. So so a lot of scientists, a lot of art, like for example, I mean, all the Indians would know, you know, Ilayaraja, he's a melancholy, Beethoven, he's a melancholy. So all the artistic people, very you know, painters, you know, they are all melancholy because they will go into detail. Okay, they'll go into details, and they are very good at that, and they are very pragmatic. Okay, so and they are very cautious. They take things very seriously. Okay, they are very loyal people. If you have a melancholy friend, they are very loyal. Okay, and they expect same loyalty from you as well. You should not forget that. Okay, so as much as they are loyal, they will expect loyalty from you because they have very high standards in who they are and what they do. Okay, and because they are very loyal, they are very devotional. Okay, people. So any religiously, if they are attached to any religion or any cultural, you know, the things they do, they will do it very systematically, very religiously. Okay, and then however the negative traits of melancholy is the passion can lead to obsession. So because they are very highly passionate, it can go into an obsessive level. They have a very pessimistic way of looking at things, and that's the reason why they are very cautious. You know, so anything they would look from a negative angle, and that is the reason why they worry a lot. They are very moody people, and if they are not careful, they can get into deep depression and grief. And because of their very high standards, they judge themselves and others. Okay, so sometimes it's very difficult to be around melancholy people because they'll be very judgmental if you don't abide by that high standard, and they are very self-judgmental as well. Okay, so that's the positive and the negative. So if we go into the body parts and organs, for them it's always digestive system. Okay, so because of that pessimistic, the worry, anything to do with worry. Okay, when somebody worries, and we all know worry is a waste emotion. Okay, every other emotion I wouldn't say it's a waste. Okay, but worrying is one emotion which doesn't have any result. It's like rocking a chair in the same place and thinking you're going somewhere. So it's like sitting in the same place. Okay, so and that affects the digestive system. Okay, so a melancholic person would suffer from IBS, you know, heartburns, gas problems. So more of a, so when somebody worries, they end up having the problems in the digestive system, and then obviously lungs, because they are also people person. Okay, for them emotions are very important. They take everything personally. Okay, even if you don't do something, it still goes personal to them, so they become very sad. So heart, so that's why heart is related, and lungs as well. Okay, and the compatibility for work, phlegmatic, obviously phlegmatic, because phlegmatic will be easy going around them. They are the people who can just bend with them. Okay, and sanguine, because sanguine can bring the balance in them. Okay, because melancholy more towards the sad side, sanguine will bring the happy side. So, and for sanguine, melancholists best because they will ground the sanguine people. Okay, they will help them to be more realistic. So that's why compatibility for relationship is sanguine. Sanguine will be a best compatible in relationship. Now to resurrect, the melancholic people have high standards. Okay, the reason why they go after perfection and high standards is they think that if they are not perfect, if they don't follow the high standards, then they are not worthy. Okay, then they cannot accept themselves with a lower standard. They find it very, very difficult to accept themselves if they have a low standard. That's why they keep thriving. They keep they set a standard so high that they cannot achieve, and they keep going in circles. Okay, so for them to resurrect, the best practice is self-acceptance. Okay, it's okay, because even the way a melancholy is created itself is perfect. Okay, just living every day, breathing normally itself is a miracle. Okay, so we are all created perfect. Even when we don't do anything, even when we are not achieving anything, we are already perfect. And that's what they need to tell themselves. So they need to accept themselves, that not only the high standards is going to get them there. They're already there. They're already perfect. Okay, so self-acceptance. Then forgiveness. Okay, so forgiveness is one of the main thing they need to practice, because what happens is they take everything personal. Okay, and because of that, and they can't let go. One thing they find it very, very difficult is letting go. They can't. If someone did something a long time back, if it's a hurt, they can't let it go. Okay, the reason why they can't let it go is they find it very difficult to accept that lower standard even within themselves, not just within outside. Okay, so because they are so unforgiving towards themselves, they find it very difficult to forgive other person as well. So they need to start forgiving themselves when they don't meet the high standards they have set, and only then will they be actually be able to forgive other people. So forgiveness is one thing they have to practice, which is very important, because only after forgiveness can letting go come. Only after forgiving somebody you can let go or forget about what happened, right? And the next thing is positivity. They need to practice a lot of positivity. Okay, because everything they see comes from a pessimistic view, so they need to practice more positivity. And that's why sanguine will be the best friend or a partner, because they can bring that positivity. Okay, so yes, so we've seen all the positive and the negative emotions of different temperaments. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so you're all listening and you're thinking, Jerry, that's great, I understand. Now I can associate myself to be a phlegmatic or a melancholy, or I can even see myself dwelling between 2 temperaments or 3 temperaments, and I can now see my positive emotions and my negative emotions. Okay, and that's great. Okay, but why do I sometimes, or most of the times, why do I use my negative emotions rather than my positive? Okay, see, so if you see in every temperament, okay, there is positive and there is negative, but a lot of times we tend to use negative. And that's why we have because every time we have a negative emotion in our body, the chemistry in our body, okay, creates unwanted chemicals, toxic chemicals. Okay, and more than the food we eat, and more than the toxic substances that we intake through food, the toxic chemicals that get secreted through emotions is higher, and it has a higher impact directly. See, for the food, if you say for example, I eat a pizza or a burger, for the food to convert into a toxic chemical, it takes time, right? And there is a process behind it. Okay, and in that process, things can go differently. For somebody, the toxic element that is produced can be less, or somebody might take a remedy along with that food. Like when somebody is having a pizza, after that, if they have a warm lemon juice, the digestion could be better. So the food converting into a toxic chemical in your body is a long process, and it takes time, and things can actually not be as bad as we think. However, a negative emotion producing a toxic chemical is instant. The moment we feel sad, okay, the moment we feel anger, the moment we feel guilt, the moment we feel shame, the chemical is secreted instantly. It doesn't take time. Okay, and we won't have even time to remedy it. It's quickly secreted in the body and the impact is much, much quicker. We can only find a remedy after that, after it is secreted. But however, with the food, even before it could convert into that stage, we can come up with some remedy in the middle. Okay, so emotions play a higher role than the food. Okay, so yes, Jerry, I understand all this. Okay, yes, I understand. But how do I know that I am using all these negative traits of me? I have my positive, but I also use my negative, and I know that the negative traits are impacting my body parts, my organs, my health, my energy, everything around me. Okay, my relationship and myself, my life, right? So I want to change. I understand all this theoretically. Okay, I want to change, but lot of times, whenever we want to change, for example, if I want to stop anger, I mean, if you take a choleric person, next time I'm not going to get angry. But does that happen? Can the person control the anger? No. When a circumstance comes, when a trigger happens, the person gets angry. A melancholist will say, oh, I don't want to be obsessed. I don't want to be so controlling about my high standards. But can the melancholist let go of their high standards? They know they have to let go, but can they let go? It's very difficult, right? We've all been there. We've all tried that. I have done this years and years, and I know how much I failed. Okay. Now we are going into the main part of the session. Okay. So why are we not able to change? Why are we exhibiting our negative emotions? Where does the negative emotion comes from? Does it come because it's just inside me? Does it come because my father had anger issues and then he passed it on to me? He was a choleric temperament and I am now a choleric temperament. So it just comes out. I can't control it. Is that how it is? Then why are we even attending sessions? Why are we even trying to change something? Why are we even trying to become better in our life? Right? So there is something inside us. The innate intelligence says that you can change. But how? Okay, so how can I change? So the reason for all this, okay, there is one reason, root cause behind all this. Okay, so if we address that root cause, then the change will be easier. Okay, and this is the root cause from birth to death for all our problems in our life. Okay, not just health problems. You take any problem, you take financial problem, you take political problem, you take a government problem, you take even coronavirus problem, you take relationship problems, health problems. This is one root cause from birth to death. Okay, and that is fear. Fear is the root cause for all our problems in our life. Okay. Oh yeah, this I've heard it many times. That's why when a baby is born, the first thing the baby does is cry, because the first thing the baby as an emotion, faces is fear. Yes, I know that. Yes, I've heard it many times. But how can I overcome the fear? Because the fear is my root cause. But how do I overcome? See, for that, what you need to do is you need to first understand the fear. You need to know your enemy first. Okay, just running away from enemy is not the answer. You need to know your enemy. Then the enemy will become a friend for you. Okay, when you know your enemy, see, that's why in Bible it says love your enemy. You can't love your enemy. As long as that person is your enemy, loving that enemy is very difficult. But when you know, you take effort, you take time to understand your enemy, then that enemy becomes a friend. Then it's easy to love your friend. Okay, that's what it says. When it meant love your enemy, it says get to know your enemy, get to know your fear. Okay, so now we are going into the root cause, fear. Okay, so okay, let's understand fear. Okay, so let's see how the fear plays a role in in a sanguine person, in a choleric person, in a phlegmatic and melancholy person. Okay. So for a sanguine and a phlegmatic person, the fear is fear of rejection. Okay. So if you take a sanguine personality, the sanguine always wants to please people because they always want people to like them. Why? Because they are fearful of being rejected by people. They don't want to be rejected. They want to be accepted by people. And that's why everything they do is to please others, because they are earning for their acceptance. They are earning for them to like them. The reason is fear of rejection. What if I get rejected? What if that person doesn't like me? What if they all don't like me? For that, I will do anything. I will compromise even my own desires, my likes, my dislikes. I will even give up my own self-respect for that. And that's the sanguine. Phlegmatic is again rejection. Okay, because they are very loving, very caring, and very peace people. And when they don't get that from other people, what they think is they are being rejected. Okay, they are people who want to be peaceful. Okay, and they think only when people are nice to them, they are peaceful with them. Okay, so the peace is what they are after, and that's what they are seeking for, and they are very scared of being rejected, and they think nobody likes them, nobody understands them, nobody responds to them as they would to others. Okay, and that's why so fear of rejection, and that's why they go quiet, they go lonely. You know, if they think they can't be understood, they'll be just leave me alone. They get very moody. Okay, so sanguine and phlegmatic, the fear is fear of rejection. Choleric and melancholy, fear of failure, because they both are very task oriented people. So choleric, if you see, for them it's about task. What if I don't achieve the task? What if I can't get the task done at the given time? For them, the time and the task is very important, not the people. But the reason why they do it is they are very fearful of failure, because the choleric personality itself is based on this fear. Okay, so because if they were a child and if their father or mother was choleric, they would have already, oh, if you didn't do it, you are a failure. They would have told him, oh, you are a failure. If you didn't achieve this, you are a failure. So for a choleric is very scared of not achieving something, and then if he doesn't achieve something, he is so scared that he's a failure. Okay, melancholy is very fearful of not achieving high standards. Okay, so for a melancholy, if they are not perfect, they are nothing. For choleric, if they didn't achieve something, they are nothing. For sanguine, if they are not liked by people, they are nothing. For phlegmatic, if they are not understood by people, they are nothing. Okay, so the fear behind all their negative traits is fear of failure and fear of rejection. Okay, so what does fear create? When we operate at a fear level, okay, so when I am operating with a fear of rejection, a sanguine person will get into an illusion of popularity. So they will go into an illusion of popularity. So they'll think, oh, if I'm popular, people will like me. If I do things that will make other people happy, they will like me. So they get into an illusion of popularity. And a choleric person will get into an illusion of power. The higher the fear, the higher the illusion. Okay, so the illusion of power becomes stronger with the fear. Okay, so the choleric person will think, oh, if I become powerful, then I'm not a failure, I'm an achiever, and that's what they go after. And then a phlegmatic will go into an illusion of peace. For them, they just want peace. For that, they'll give up anything. Okay, sometimes their own self respect, their own they might have an opinion on an idea which may be really good, but they won't say that in a meeting. They'll think, no, 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 no. What if I say and somebody rejects my opinion, or if they come in conflict with me, I'll just keep the peace. I'll keep quiet. Okay, so illusion of peace. Melancholy, illusion of perfection. So the fear creates illusion. Okay, so when the illusion becomes life, okay, and then it becomes a higher illusion in our life, and that's when we get into problem, and that's where our negative traits start to show. Okay, so with the illusion of popularity, okay, we saw how a sanguine person will just let go of their own self-respect. They'll be very impulsive. So what they need to do is, sanguine personality, they need to love themselves. Okay, self-love. Okay, they don't need other people to love them. Okay, they need to love themselves. They don't need other people's love to make them feel good. Okay, so self-love for sanguine is a must to practice, and they need to practice grounding. Okay, they need to come into more realistic. Okay, if somebody is asking for a movie but I don't want to go, what if I don't have to please them? Because that movie is anyway going to be a waste of time for me for 3 hours. I could rather do something else. Or what if I give them another suggestion? Let's go for another movie which is much better time to be spent. So they need to be more realistic. Okay. Choleric needs to let go of controlling others and their environment, and all they can do is control themselves, self-control, and they need to practice more calmness. Okay. And phlegmatic needs to trust themselves. They need to value themselves. As much as other people are important and valuable, they are also important and valuable. Their opinions are valuable and important. Their ideas are valuable and important. So they need to have more confidence about themselves, and they need to practice self-assertion. Okay, so they need to be more assertive. They need to express their ideas, their opinions without the fear of rejection. Melancholy, they need to practice letting go of their high standards. It's okay if something is not perfect, that's fine. That's not going to be the end of the world, and that doesn't make them any less failure. That doesn't make them a failure. Okay, so they need to practice let go of high standards, and they need to be more happy. So happiness is what they need to bring into their lives. Okay, so this is the root cause. So if we understand the fear of failure and fear of rejection, and how the fear brings an illusion in our life, and that illusion is what is driving us, driving our positive and our negative emotions, then we will know how to overcome it. So do not fear. Okay, believe in yourself. You are perfect. Okay, you are not a failure. You are an achiever, and you are already you are loved, and already you are perfect, and you are already peaceful. So you don't have to go after that. Okay, right. So we've come to the end of this week. So week 1, we saw the body chemistry and the temperaments. Week 2, we saw the emotions and the temperaments. Week 3 is going to be a wild card, very interesting. So please don't miss that. Week 4, Kannan's female health and hormones. And week 5 will be more emotional aspects and more of practical tips with food, lifestyle, and even other aspects. Okay. So thank you so much. And I just want all of you to take this statement with you, that you are whole. I am whole, strong, perfect, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. And let go of get rid of your fear. Okay. So thank you so much. And I'll just hand over the session to Malati. And after that, we can have questions. So Malati will do the vote of thanks. And after that, if you want to stay back and ask questions, be there, up to you. Or if you have something else, please feel free to leave. Yeah, thank you. Malti, over to you.
Thank you, Jerry. Am I audible?
Yes, Malati, you are.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry, for your beautiful session. It's really helpful for us to understand about emotions and temperament. It's really a wonderful session, actually, because we never had this type of session anywhere, and to know about how our body and organs are associated with our emotions is really fantastic one. And we are really thankful for that this session. And I like to share few minutes. I like to talk about this sanctuary and Jerry for just 2 minutes. I'm part of sanctuary from batch 1, and I know Jerry for last 2.5 years. I really felt that it's God's blessing to meet Kanan and Jerry in our life, because we never met anybody like them. They are a very positive couple and always caring for others, and they are really simply super, like always people oriented and always try to help others. So really, we are blessed to have you in our life, actually. And you both are very best example of how body and mind works together. So actually I like to share my my experience. Like, I have gone through some resentment, angry or stress in my past. So I was really angry about everything in my life. I had a couple of sessions with Jerry regarding mind session. It's a mind session. So after the session, I was really able to identify the root cause of the anger and work towards reducing the anger and emotions. And now I'm really gratitude towards my life and really thankful for my life. So she had changed me completely. Actually, Jerry had changed me completely, because previously I'm completely different person. Now I'm completely different person. So I really like to thank you. And one more thing is, mostly we are giving more importance to our body, like what to eat and how to eat and what are the healthy stuffs we should eat and all. But we should also concentrate on our mind and emotions, because mind have more influence on our body, just that we have experiencing now. So that's why I'm just saying this. So thank you, Jerry, for this opportunity. Thank you so much. And thank you. It's really wonderful session. We are really blessed. Thank you, Jerry and Kannan.
Thank you, Malti. Thank you so much. You are very generous with your words. Thank you. Yeah, any questions? Please feel free to ask now, or we can end the session.
Hi, Jerry. This is Jyoti from Dallas.
Hey, hi, Jyoti.
Very nice to hear from you. The way you're explaining the voice and the tone is really soothing, first of all.
Thank you so much.
Very impressive. I have no clue what this session is about, but I was really impressed to know when we know the reality, this is what is existing. It gives us more understanding about yourself and others also, I think, in the right ways. People can say in many ways, but the actual right ways to know is more valuable to understand and implement.
Yep.
Thank you. And I have a question. Is there any way we can have the colloquial names for each of these things, because they're very technical and very scientific? Are there any easy words that we can remember each type as a...
Did you mean to say the name, that choleric, sanguine? Is that what you're asking?
Right, yes.
Okay. This names actually, it comes from the Greek, medicine, the physician Hippo. So that's how he's named it.
Okay.
I'm I'm not sure if there is any other name.
Can I respond?
Yeah, please. Okay, Karan, please.
So the way I remember is sanguine is popular. So basically there are 4 P's. Okay, sanguine is popular, choleric is powerful, and phlegmatic is peaceful, and the last one, melancholy, is Mr. Perfect. So remember 4 P's. That's probably an easier way to remember non-technical or non-Greek.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful, powerful, popular, peaceful, and what is the last one, Kannan?
Popular, powerful, peaceful, and the last one is perfect.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Is nice.
Thank you, Kannan. It was good.
And Mrs. Kannan.
Hello.
Yeah, are there any other questions?
Jerry, this is Jeno here.
Hey, hi Jeno.
Jerry, you said about fear, and when we are having these negative emotions, the changes in our body is instant.
Yep.
Now, are those changes reversible?
Yeah, it is. See, like I said, in the food, okay, for the food to become a toxic chemical, it takes time. Okay, so in the food process, you can stop the toxic process in the middle itself. Okay, you can, by the time it converts into a toxic chemical, we can bring in some other food or something else to stop in the middle. That is applicable to the food. However, for the emotion, the chemical is instantly secreted, but it is reversible afterwards, not in the middle. For example, it's like, so if somebody, let's take anger, okay? So when somebody hurts us with the, certain words, and say, for example, I get anger, I feel anger in my emotion, right? The moment I feel anger, the chemicals will start secreting in my body, because you will start seeing the changes. Your body temperature will rise, your heart will start beating fast, you will start getting hot, you will feel the heat in your body, your breathing will become heavier, so we will start to see, and with that process, the chemicals will start secreting. But what we can do is, after that, say for example, so the moment we get angry, and say somebody, the person who hurt us, they comes and says, sorry, I really didn't know, I shouldn't have said that, or probably I was wrong. It will go down, right? It will go down, and after that, what we can do is, then we will say, oh, okay, I'm happy. So when we feel that happy emotion next, okay, so followed by happy emotion can nullify the effect. And that's why like practicing forgiveness, gratitude, letting go, all these are emotions that can nullify the guilt or the shame or the hurt that we feel, and the bad chemicals that is formed due to that. So we can nullify it through these good emotions like gratitude and letting go. So does that answer your question, Jeno?
Yes, Jerry, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So another quick question. This is Anand.
Hi, Anand.
Does your one, or I should say 2 questions. One, does your personality tend to change over time as you grow up and experience different things? And second, do you subconsciously also change your personality depending on, the personality of a partner or somebody who you're working with?
Super. Very, very, very good question, Anand. So the first question is, does our personality change? Exactly, yes. Okay. And this in detail, I'll be covering in the week 5 as well, how it changes, how we can consciously change and all that. But the answer to your question is, yes, it changes. And it changes for various reasons. Okay. Sometimes it changes for a strong circumstance. For example, if I have to give you an example, when somebody goes through a very if a death happens in the family, or if a major accident happens, if you ask those, they'll come up with their life will change. They'll say my life changed with this event, right? So the personality can change with a particular circumstance, or somebody can change the personality consciously. Like, for example, see, when you attend the session and when you understand these things, you will personally put an effort to change certain negative emotions, thereby that will change the personality. For example, if a melancholy wants to change and they say, oh, I am going to bring more happiness into my life, so they might consciously make an effort to bring the happiness, and which means they can slowly move from melancholy to sanguine. So yes, so the answer to your question is yes, they can change. The answer to the second is subconsciously, can somebody change? Yes, definitely. Based on the for that, I will give a child as an example. That's very easy to understand. So a child, if you take, in the first 10 years, they develop their one thing, they develop their personalities based on their genes. Okay, so through the DNA. But it's not just the DNA that will make their personality. Within that 10 years, in their environment, whatever they learn in their school, whatever they learn from the society, whatever they learn from their friends, based on that, they will form their personality as well. And that personality can be different from the personality they got from their genes, and they could be developing this different personality subconsciously through a friend, or through a teacher, or through somebody else, or through a culture or religion, or to in whichever circumstance they are brought. And that same thing applies to an adult as well. So subconsciously, a person can develop a personality if their spouse demands certain changes in them, or their work demands certain things, or consciously, in both ways, subconsciously or consciously.
Yep.
Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Yeah. So is there any other question, or
It's very great session. Like, I was able to relate myself where I am and how do I need to improve on. So it's great.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of the session. Thank you so much for being patient. I know I've run a little over time, but thank you so much for your attendance and patience, and hope to see you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Akka.
Thank you. Bye-bye.